How on earth is that possible that still we have a people in the EU, Orbán and Fico, who still speaks for Moscow, but not for Europe, who's basically very sincere, complimentary about the Kremlin?
Well, I mean, people are different, and in a group of 27 countries, you find different leaders. I would not want to. I don't know how that is possible, but there is certainly parts of the population in Europe that believe Russian propaganda. Let's not forget that you are not fighting only the kinetic war, but the hybrid warfare and the disinformation warfare that Russia has unleashed on Ukraine and the whole Western world, well, not only Western world, but globally, and pushing their disinformation narratives is a very powerful weapon they use. And a lot of people, in today's world where you are overwhelmed with information, sometimes it's not easy to navigate through it, and people look for easy answers to complex problems.
Speaking about the leaders like Viktor Orbán, still, what he is doing, he's blocking the Ukrainian access to the EU. He's blocking a lot of decisions regarding Ukraine, unfortunately. What he's trying to gain with that approach inside the EU?
Well, that's really, you would need to ask him what he's trying to gain. There are funds that are stopped for Hungary on the grounds of rule of law development. So I think that's one element. The rest you would have to ask the question to him. But the decision-making in Europe is sufficiently complex and differentiated that we already managed to get 18 packages of sanctions, and they are unanimous. So Hungary voted in favor of it. So yes, there are aspects that he has not been voting for, but there are others that he has. And let's hope that this week we'll have an approval of the 19th package of sanctions, which again would have required an agreement of Hungary.
And I've heard that the EU has already provided the idea of EU enlargement without that Ukraine could join without full voting rights at first. At the beginning, at least.
I don't believe that we have provided anything. There are all sorts of ideas how to prepare the EU for being able to take on more entrants. So there are all sorts of ideas that are floating in there. One thing I can assure you is that there has not been any decision or any even formal proposal going in that direction so far.
Yes, okay. And the EU has already provided 3 billion euros to support Ukraine's energy sector. What kind of assistance we may wait this winter from the EU in support our energy infrastructure?
Well, we have, since the beginning of the full-scale invasion, indeed provided to the tune probably even more than 3 billion.
Yeah.
And we are not starting preparation for this winter season now. We have started preparation for this winter season at the end of last winter season.
Yeah.
And we have now, in fact, provided in a new type of guarantee, unique for the first time, guarantee for 800 million purchase of gas, emergency purchase of gas via European Bank for Reconstruction and Development, EBRD and EIB. And we also provide and have been providing a lot of in-kind assistance in terms of energy, not only generators for people and businesses, but also the transformer stations and the compressor stations to help repair the electricity grid and the gas distribution and the compressors that take it from storages, the gas out, which have been damaged. We also financially support state-owned enterprises and also big energy enterprises to repair their equipment.
Yes.
We also provide over I think it's 2.1 gigawatt on a daily basis of electricity. When few days into the full-scale invasion, the electricity grid of Ukraine and Moldova was connected with the European continental grid. And that's a very important backup system for Ukraine to have 2 gigawatts of electricity coming from there. And we have also been now supporting a lot of new renewable energy producers, whether it's solar, whether it's biomass, whether it's wind, to help with the distributed energy supply.
Oh, wow.
And if I may give my last favorite example, we actually support the transport, logistics, and delivery of all this equipment to Ukraine. And for example, Lithuanians donated a thermal power plant to Ukraine. So they picked it apart, and piece by piece, we delivered it and brought it to Ukraine.
Oh my God! I don't know how. Is it take for ages? Is it took for ages?
No,
all this process?
It took a few months.
Amazing. I haven't heard about that, to be honest. And the question that I really want to ask you. I know that people are asking you that all the time. Well, quite often, that the protest, anti-corruption protest we had in July in Ukraine, and which I was visiting, and a lot of Ukrainians and foreigners were visiting. Do you think that it's definitely affected our image of Ukraine abroad? It has some impact, but did we recover from it?
Well, it of course affected your image abroad, but let me say several important elements. First, that there was a reaction by the young people showing that, we are fighting, and our parents and brothers and uncles are fighting for a new kind of Ukraine. And I think that's very important. This is a completely new generation. And so the spirit of free and non-corrupt society cuts across the generations, right? This is actually excellent news, and also the fact that the authorities reacted immediately and took corrective actions is also remarkable. So this just shows that the democratic spirit lives in Ukraine, and of course, if attacks on the anti-corruption institutions continue, that will be a problem. But I think the reactivity to the protest was actually remarkable.